Yeah. So now, what we're going to do here is, I like this, is coming with the Southpaw. Now, what happens here is, now for one, see how far apart your legs are? That's very, very common. And you don't even realize how much you're leaning on this front foot right now. See how you have your heel up? Yeah. All of your offense is here. Now, the reason why that works, the reason why that happens so much is because you're basically can't wait to punch me. Okay? your anxiousness to score, you start cheating. You know? It's almost like, I remember I was playing football in the Marine Corps and I was a running back. And we were scrimmaging. And I was wondering, like I would sit here and all of the running plays, they would close up that hole real quick. The defense, I'm like, man, that defense is good. And the reason why they were doing this was because as the quarterback was calling the freaking plays, I was doing this. And they were reading it. I'm leaning on, play goes to the other side, I'm already here. I wasn't even aware of what I was doing. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna get this. And I'm leaning in. The defense just started, they knew where I was going. So I had to learn to sit behind the quarterback from here. I didn't even look at I would scan the defense and then I would look down every play. Even if it was a pass play or whatever, I had to get in the habit of scanning where the defense was and I looked down. Peripherally, I would see the shifts, I would see whatever, but I didn't look at the line and I didn't lean. Stay right here. And then you get into the freaking play and go. But I was telling them, I was basically snitching on myself and allowing them to get an advantage. So if I'm here, the minute I see this foot, your heel coming up, and you're leaning forward, I'm gonna be right here. And I'm gonna pull back. Just play with the distance a little bit, and then I'm gonna run right in here. And you're still leaning in this way. You got me? You're helping me out. You can't adjust faster than I can get into the gap. And you're helping me out by doing that. Okay? So, you want to stay back and be more balanced here. So now it's easier to run your offense. Now, we're going to make a small shift. When you throw your jab, what you're going to do is you're going to push off that back foot, come through with your hips, boom, just like that. Don't land so heavy on the front foot. I don't know if you realize you did that. Come back. It's just a small 1, 2, bam. There you go. That's how you want to get it. You want to get your feet moving in a half step so that that move, instead of it taking 1 and 2, you see how long that's how the first time you ran, that's how long it took you to make that step. As opposed to it being that long, it should be right here. 1, 2. Boom, 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 right there. And then you don't have that momentum pulling you through. You're coming through from your hips. You're moving from your hips, right? So you take that half step and shoot your jab. Boom, there you go. There you go. Come back, come back, come back. 1. There you go. I come through here. There you go. You keep this on me. Watch that back foot. So the key that I'm trying to make to you is because I come around this half circle this far, does not mean you have to travel on your half circle the same distance. You don't have to. Yeah. So if you're shooting your jab, not step in front of you and come around it, that's all you have to do. It's right there. And you shoot your jab, and you take a half step. Just like that. And you run your offense behind your punch. Okay? So you're here. I come in here. There you go. And you're back in position, right in there. Now, here we go. As you start moving from side to side.
That leg starts to...
You saw that. Yeah. The back foot started dragging. This is where, now, that gets stuck because you aren't familiar enough with the stance to realize how to maintain it. And that's why I wanted to stop and point that out. Because without pointing it out, it takes you longer to get it. It takes you longer to understand what you're supposed to do on every step. We start thinking that this is acceptable, you know, as opposed to standing behind your punch, standing behind your stance every step. And be right here. We start thinking this is acceptable. Because, let's say you're standing right here, right? If you move to your right, that's right, you lead with your right foot. You move to your left, you lead with your left foot. Now you stand here, you want to continue to do that for some reason. When we do this, every time you go to your right, you're going to want to grab that real estate with your right hand, with your right foot. Every time you move to the left, and it's hard to hold that stance when you actually still subscribe to moving that way. So we change our focus on looking down that rifle, holding that rifle in place. So now the movement that you're going to make is going to be from the waist down. It's generated and applied from the waist down. But it is also to maintain your rifle on your opponent. So now when you make this step over this way, maintaining this rifle on your opponent, go. You see that? You see how you move differently? So it knows how to move. Your feet know how to move if you lock in and concentrate on this objective. And it answers a whole lot of questions, because a lot of times when we do drills in here and we do different instructions, people are asked, how do I move that way and hold the true boxer stance? You have to let go of the way your brain is subscribed to moving and leading with that side foot, whichever side you're moving to, that direction. Let go of that and focus more on holding your position, and your feet will move accordingly. They'll move the way they're supposed to. So you just stay balanced from here, right? So if I'm moving in here, you concentrate on this, there you go. So if I'm moving here, look at that, look at that. Didn't even, see how much of a difference that was? Simply because your focus was on the right place. If your focus is on getting the hell away from this guy, if your focus is on just moving, if your focus is on cutting him off, then your form will go out the window. If your focus is on form, you will hold it and it will benefit you, and it will hinder your opponent a whole lot more. Because, like we went over before, and you said that you like to do that whole step down and throw over the top, because you know how they're going to move. If I know every time I move over this way, this foot's going to come flying out, then I'm going to be right here. I can just get you to scatter. It's one of the things, and if you go back to some of the older videos, it's one of the things we call bird hunting. I think we went over there in Minnesota. Yeah. It's bird hunting. You send the dogs into the bushes.
Just let them shoot out.
And they're going to fly up in the air. You shoot them down as they come up. You can't get to them. You can't even see them in the bushes. So behind the stands, I don't have anything. But if I can ruffle the freaking bushes and get you to fly out, now I have something. Okay? So you don't want to allow your opponent to go bird hunting on you. Just hold your position. Stay covered. You stay covered. You don't take those shots. Okay? No, hit the jab, right? There you go. Now, if I'm going to press, this is something we're going to go over again. From here, if I'm sitting here and I'm pressing, as opposed to backing straight up like you did before, this is where you want to be. Okay? You can be there. I will say, for the typical orthodox fighter, the advantage that you have is that it's easier for you to go this way. It's harder for him to defend himself this way. But it's easier for you to run a very aggressive offense here. He can't run an effective defense as well. So we'll go into psychology of the game. This is why every time you see a right-handed fighter being coached to fight a left-handed fighter, what do they tell you to do? Stay to the outside. I don't want to get you rolling out this way. I don't want you comfortable rolling out this way. So they always tell you to stay to the outside for two reasons. One is it kind of hinders your freedom of motion to start running your offense that way. And two, if you place your foot to the outside of my foot and I'm standing in here, where's your left hand? That's right, right at your opponent. He's standing right in line. So if if I were to establish, and keep you right there, if I were to establish my foot to the outside, my right hand is right here. So it allows that power hand aggressiveness also when you relax your stance and it leaves it open. Because a lot of times guys hold their hands low or they hold their hands to their temples. So even holding your hands to your temples, if I'm holding my hands to my temples and you step outside, yes, it's right there, right between the gloves. So the whole holding your hands to the temples or holding your hands low, that whole little outside step throws your power hand right into where it needs to go. So you want to run your offense. Don't leave that. There you go. Come back. So you want to be able to run your offense, boom, just like that, and step in here, pushing him off of you, right? If he leans in, boom, that's there. Or you step right, there you go. Just step right back over. Because you don't want him to be able to throw some crazy hooks over the top and all that whole, the closeness that he has of his lead hand, you can eliminate that. There you go, from being there, boom, and step right back in front of him. And now he's right back where he started, and then that's very frustrating. Yeah, and yeah, you make him back up and start all over. But I will say this, like we were talking about earlier about confidence and the mojo. If I want to be aggressive, and every time I'm coming in, you're shifting and punching, boom, boom, and it's causing me to do this, that does something for your confidence. Okay? Now, another thing is when you're boxing, you can be actually outscoring a fighter. You can be outscoring a fighter, but by allowing him to come forward on you, his confidence stays intact. Because he's able to hang his hat on being the aggressor. Okay? This is why you'll see me always teaching and encouraging you to give me angles. Give this opponent, when he wants to be aggressive and he's coming in on you, instead of going straight back, give him angles and run your offense. Because that stops his forward motion, that stops his aggressiveness, and it tells a truer picture. He's able to keep the score a little more accurate. All right? Because there's times he's getting hit, but he's chasing you down, and you're backing straight up, and he's coming at you, and he may be getting hit, but he's calling himself the aggressor. Because he's allowed to. Because he's allowed to be the aggressor, and he'll hang his hat on that. He'll be confident about that. You know? And that's what we want to keep him from doing. You know? Hold on one second. Hey, Casey. Did they close that front door? Or is it standing wide open?
I'll check.
I just thought about that. So, when you're here, we're going to run this jab. I want you to give me 2 jabs, right? I want you to come right back and give me another jab. There you go. Again. And come back. Now, you see that shift that you made? That's what I want you to understand. Now what you want to do is make sure you run that to where you can start doing that without one of two. We got some things we got to pay attention to. You want to be able to do that without having to stop your momentum and coming back, but also you want to make sure you throw that last jab that you're coming over here in proper form. Sometimes we'll slow down the form of the jab so that we don't create that momentum. So I want you to be able to understand that you can throw that jab properly twice, and still be able to come back and shoot back to the other side. That's what you want to work on. If you got to slow it down, slow it down. You slow it down, get comfortable with the movement, and then you start challenging yourself going a little quicker, and keeping everything in place. Try to do it full speed when you don't really have it. Yeah, you're asking to slide right off the track. All right, so understand how to navigate and maneuver, and then we go from there. So now we're going to slow it down a little bit. Give me a double jab, and step back. Boom, there you go. Again, and come. There you go. Boom. Good. Now, see how you read that? I want you to read it. If I'm coming in here, and I step over this way, there you go. Come right back. But you keep the jab on me. So when I hold mitts, I'm always, depending on to what level the guy is that I'm working with, I'm constantly shifting and giving them new looks because I'm testing you and drilling and making sure you understand that your feet have to be in the game. They have to be in play. There is no time that you just give them some time off. All right? They have to be in play. If your feet are leading the movement, it runs in perfect. The minute your hands start trying to lead the movement or your shoulders start trying to lead the movement, your balance goes out the window. Your feet will not follow your hands. They're arrogant like that, but your hands will follow your feet. So when you're shifting, boom, from whatever, that's it. If you're letting your feet dictate where you go next, you'll find yourself able to use all of your tools. The minute you let your hands dictate, your shoulders dictate, you're going to find yourself not be able to reach certain things when you need them. Okay?
I got you.
My man.
Thank you.